Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining in. Today we'll have a very special lecture on Janmashtami since we all celebrated the Janmashtami recently. So let's get started with the prayers and then thank you everyone for joining in. Today we'll have a very special lecture on. Okay. So please join me in chanting the prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pasha Dadeshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So some of you might be wondering, Janmashtami is over already, and why we are doing the session now after Janmashtami? It should have been before the Janmashtami, right? So I'll try to justify that. So yes, ideally we should have done it before Janmashtami to prepare consciousness, but as you know that all the devotees and everyone practically was so caught up with so many services in the temple. So we didn't get much time to discuss more. But Srila Prabhupada explains in one place what is Janmashtami. And Prabhupada in that quote, he says every day is Janmashtami. Because Krishna is like rising the sun. So sun rises in the morning and sets in the evening, again next day sun again rises. So that is how Krishna's appearance is. Krishna is not like 5,000 years back, he came and he went back and then Krishna is not coming again. So why we are doing the Janmashtami today. Practically every day there is a Janmashtami. So sometimes Janmashtami is in front of our eyes, sometimes some other planet. So Krishna is constantly taking appearance in many planets, in numerous planets. So that is how Srila Prabhupada explains every day is Janmashtami. So yes, we can think that today is also Janmashtami. And for us it is more important. As Prabhupada in many places says, when we celebrate any festival, our festivals are not the festivals of some fruits and flowers. But our festivals are basically, it should trigger the remembrance of the Lord more and more. It should give us the opportunity to serve the Lord more. So anytime when we get the chance and opportunity to remember Krishna, to discuss about Krishna, that is like a Janmashtami. Right. So of course, the specific day has its own significance. But also, whenever all the devotees they sit together, they discuss Krishna Katha, and that is the Janmashtami. Okay. So taking this opportunity, and we'll try to share a few thoughts and try to take some lessons from Janmashtami. Right. Not only just discussing some stories, the story practically, I think most of us knows the stories. Some of the stories might be well new, but more or less we know the stories. But what is the essence? What is the crux? What is the insight behind this? Is the whole idea. Okay. So this Krishna Leela, it appears in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna Leela only. But when we are saying 10th canto, it is more of like the Vrindavan pastimes of Krishna. Very exclusive stories of Krishna. Right? And then before the Krishna Leela begins, the Shukadeva Goswami start to narrate the Krishna Leela. He quote this verse in the very beginning of 10th canto, who says, Nivratta Tarshe Rupagiyamanas Bhavashada Shrot Manobirama Kauttama Shloka Gunanuvadat Puman Virajyet Vina Pashugnat. So what he says, actually this Nivratta Tarshe Rupagiyamanas. This Krishna Katha, it is meant for different kinds of people. So one category of people is those who are Nivratta Tarshe. They're completely Nivratta, completely free from all the trishnas, all the materialistic desires, the pure devotees. They relish to their heart, Krishna Katha, spontaneously. They're constantly they're in remembrance of Krishna. So that is one level. Then it says, Nivratta Darsher Upagiyamanas Bhavaushadhat. Second category of people is all the materialistic people in this material world. Those who are suffering in this material world and completely in ignorance, right? For them, this Krishna Katha, it acts like a Bhava Aushadhi. So Aushadhi means the medicine. So this Krishna Katha is also a medicine. Medicine of what disease? Bhava Rog. It is called the Bhava Rog. That we are stuck here in this material world. So there is a Aushadhi. What is the Aushadhi? What is the medicine to come out from this body, this material existence? That Aushadhi is for absorption in Krishna Katha. When we listen to Krishna's Naam, Roop, Guna, Leela, that acts like a Aushadhi. As we know that as soon as we start chanting, hearing about Krishna, it is Cheto Darpan Marjanam. It purifies our infection, material infection, and we get more cured. Right? We come to more healthy state of our existence. And what is our real healthy state of existence? Our existence with Krishna. So what is the disease? That we are turned away from Krishna. That is the biggest disease. So this Krishna Katha also acts as a Bhava Aushadhi. So Nivratta Tarsha Rupagiyamanat Bhava Aushadha Shrot Manobhiramat. And this Aushadhi also said, generally when you take the medicine, it is very bitter. Right? Nobody likes to take the medicine. But the nature of this medicine is very unique. This is Manobhiramat. It is very pleasing, very sweet. Right? So this is very special Aushadhi, that if somebody don't want to take this Aushadhi, it is meant even for those people also. Who are those people? Those who are completely ignorant people, lost in this world, not interested in Krishna. They can also take interest in Krishna. Why? Because Krishna Katha includes everything. There is a politics, there is romance, there is, drama. Everything is there. So even the karmis, hardcore, they're not devotees, but they are also sometimes interested in listening all these stories, Radha Krishna love stories or something like that. Because the nature of this medicine is, it is very, very sweet. So it is meant for that. So that is how the Shukdev begins to narrate the Krishna Katha. Right? So we'll try to read a little bit something from Prabhupada books and then try to take some lessons. So when we talk about this Krishna Leela or Krishna Katha, now this Krishna Leela also.
Please mute everybody, Guruji.
Yeah. Check if there is any setting that automatically people should go on mute. Okay, so Krishna Leela we are talking about. Now this Krishna Leela also, there are 3 types of Krishna Leela. What are the 3 types? So the Acharya, the Shastra explains, one Krishna Leela is called the Nitya Leela. So all the Krishna Leela is called the Nitya Leela, but Nitya Leela means there are 3 types of Nitya Leela. What are the 3 types? One type is in the spiritual world, where Krishna is there in the Golok Vrindavan. There is constantly, and there is a Leela is going on. So that is called one type of Nitya Leela. Another Nitya Leela is when Krishna comes in this material world. Like we all know, 5,000 years back, Krishna came here and he performed the pastimes. So like that, Krishna comes 5,000 years back, he came here in Vrindavan, which is North India. But then as soon as Krishna winds up his pastime, then he appears in another planet, in another universe somewhere. So that is also Nitya Leela is going on there. And then another Leela, which is also Nitya Leela, is the Leela which runs in the devotee's heart. A pure devotee constantly absorbs himself in seeing the Krishna Leela. So like our great acharyas, Goswamis. So one time this Rupa Goswami, when he was sitting, is one of the acharya in our line in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, one of the disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Rupa Goswami one time, when he was sitting in his meditation and he was meditating on the Leela of Krishna. So what was his meditation? So in his meditation, he was seeing the Vrindavan pastime. Right? And what he was saying? He was saying that, Krishna was trying to trick Radharani. What was that Leela? That Leela was that Radharani was trying to pluck a fruit from the tree. And that branch was pretty high. So Krishna was there on the top of the tree. With that hiding himself, Radharani didn't know. And he was pushing that branch with his feet. And when he was pushing the branch, it was coming down and it was pretty much accessible to Radharani. And when she caught hold of that fruit of the branch, immediately Krishna let go. And the Radharani, along with the branch, she also goes hanging. And Krishna was laughing. So like that, he was meditating on the Leela, right? And it's a long story actually. When Rupa Goswami is meditating, so by seeing this Leela darshan in his meditation, he also laughed, Rupa Goswami. And there was one sage walking by, and he was not walking properly. So he thought that he laughed at me. So of course, it's a different story. But the point is, we're talking about the Nitya Leela. So one is in a spiritual world, constantly going on. Another is Krishna comes in this material world, constantly Leela is going on. And another constant Leela is going on in devotee's heart, right? So devotees, the pure devotees, they are always in Vrindavan. Say that you can take a pure devotee out of Vrindavan, but you cannot take the Vrindavan out of pure devotee. We see the practical example is Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, for practical reasons, he came out of Vrindavan in his advanced days, 70 years old. When people plan to retire and go and settle in Vrindavan, that is when Prabhupada comes out from Vrindavan, right? But it's not like that Prabhupada was out of Vrindavan. He was carrying Vrindavan in his heart, all the Krishna's Leela. And wherever he goes, he created the Vrindavan. Actually, it is said there are 4 kinds of Vrindavan. Anybody knows what are the 4 kinds of Vrindavan? One Vrindavan is Goloka Vrindavan, that eternal abode of Krishna. And then another Vrindavan is when... Okay. So another Vrindavan is when Krishna comes here in this material world. So it is said that Krishna doesn't come to this material world. He brings his own abode. So like a king, when you see a king, when he goes out, so he doesn't go to some ordinary place. And that place is not that great, suitable for the king. Then king send his entourage and they create the facility for the king. So similarly, when Krishna comes here in this material world, he brings his own Vrindavan Dham onto this land. So that Vrindavan is when he comes here, he performs the pastime. And when he goes back, he leaves that Vrindavan behind here. That is called the Bhaumya Vrindavan. So one is Goloka Vrindavan, one is the Bhaumya Vrindavan, means the Vrindavan on this land. And there's another Vrindavan, which is, let me check, the technical name I'm missing. Okay, the same. I am missing the technical name, but the Vrindavan, which is always in the heart of a devotee. So it is said in the Bhagavatam, Bhavad Vida Bhagavatas, Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. So basically, the great devotees, they're called the Bhagavatas. They are Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. They carry the Tirtha. They carry the Vrindavan in their heart, right? So wherever Prabhupada goes, Prabhupada carries the Vrindavan. He creates that place as Vrindavan. And then another Vrindavan is called that Vrindavan which is created by a devotee. That is also we can understand that when Prabhupada came, he left Vrindavan, but then he came to the world and he created a lot of Vrindavan. So now if I ask you the question, where you're sitting? So you can say that I'm sitting in Milpitas. And the reality is you're sitting in Vrindavan. And it's not a sentimental statement. I'll give you the quotation from the scriptures. It is said, it says, Naham tishtami vakunte yoginam hridayeshu va yatra gayanti madbhakta tatra gayanti narada. So it is said, Naham tishtami vakunte. Krishna himself says, possible that I am not in Vakunta sometime. He might have gone out for some vacations. He says, Naham tishtami vakunte yoginam hridayeshu va. You may not find sometime me in Vrindavan, and I may not be found even in the heart of the great yogis, those who are sitting in meditation, doing tapasya. I'm not in their heart also at times. But for sure, yatra gayanti madbhakta, where my devotees are singing my glories, tatra tishtami narada. There definitely I'll be there. So wherever you chant Krishna's name, Krishna Katha, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's Leela, for sure we should know from the scriptures that Krishna is there. So that is the understanding. So Prabhupada has created the temples. They are not some infrastructure that you come, sing, dance, but also, yes, of course, sing, dance, but what is the understanding? We sing for the pleasure of Krishna, we dance for the pleasure of Krishna, whatever we do for the pleasure of Krishna, because we understand that Krishna is right there, right? It's not like there's some stone statue standing here and we're sentimentally doing something. No, Krishna is right. Krishna Balram is standing here. So that is the understanding. So we are sitting in Vrindavan. So this is also another kind of Vrindavan. So these are different Vrindavan and Vrindavan Leela, Vrindavan pastimes, and Prabhupada created the pastime, this Vrindavan for all of us to practice wherever you are in this material world. You can still take the advantage of Vrindavan. Okay. So let us discuss about Krishna's appearance, Janmashtami. So as we know that in the month of Bhadrapad, around 5,000 years back, and on the day of Ashtami, in the Rohini Nakshatra, Krishna decided to appear in this material world. I will not get into the story. We'll try to take some lessons from this pastime, that how Krishna comes. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma cha me devyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamedi so Arjuna. Krishna says, my janma, my appearance, and my activities, they're all transcendental. So when Krishna says that, then we can understand that how Krishna's appearance is transcendental. So we'll try to understand in today's discussion that how Krishna's appearance is transcendental. So when Krishna came, how he came, we all know the story. That Krishna was not conceived like an ordinary child is conceived in this world, with the unification of male and female. But Krishna, when Vasudeva was sitting in his meditation, Krishna appeared in his dhyan, in his mind. And from his mind, he transferred himself to the heart of Vasudeva. And from the heart of Vasudeva, he transferred to the heart of Devaki. And from Devaki's heart, he transferred himself to the womb of Devaki. This is how Krishna appeared. It's not ordinary, it is super extraordinary. And then Krishna comes in what form? Small child form? Oh, he came in the four-handed Vishnu form. Right? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Nicely dressed in yellow garments. And then bedecked with all the jewels and ornaments. Have we ever seen any child that who comes with nicely dressed with all the jewels and beautiful clothes and all that? It won't happen. Who can do this? Only the Supreme Lord, all-powerful Lord. He can do that. Right? He came like this. And generally, like I think practically all of you had the experience of how the child is born. And the child is born, he's smeared with all kinds of blood and urine and so many dirty things, and then it has to be cleaned and all of that. And all the time the child keeps coming crying. When the child is born, if he doesn't cry, then everybody will start crying. That why he's not crying, right? The doctor makes sure that child has to cry, right? That is how they breathe and all of that. But Krishna came smiling, beautifully decorated. He's not crying like an ordinary child. So that itself proves that Krishna's birth is transcendental. It is divyam. And then the Acharya explains that why Krishna has to come in that particular form. So there's multiple reasons is given by the Acharyas. Okay, so before that, we all know the story, that how the whole story begins. That when you read Krishna book, Prabhupada explains, and those who are not reading, please read Krishna books. Beautifully, all these pastimes are nicely and in great details it has been explained. And if you wish, you can join us 8:30 every evening. We read Krishna book for 15 minutes, 8:30 to 8:45. Those who don't know, you can try to join. So what happened was, when the earth was overburdened by all the demonic kings, right? And then Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya. When there is a rise of irreligion, all kinds of demonic people, they rise. That is when Krishna makes his descent. So before that, the Bhumi Devi, the Mother Earth, she was overburdened by all these demonic kings. And she was crying. She took a form of a cow and goes and pleads to Brahmaji. Right? Now Brahmaji, supposedly he is a creator of the whole universe. He is a four-headed Brahma, not ordinary person. So much intelligence he has to have to create, not one head, four head. But when the Bhumi Devi comes and then pleaded that please help me, what to do? And Brahma also started scratching his head, what to do? I also don't have the solution. So what is the lesson? The lesson number one is, sometimes the solutions of a problem doesn't come from our fertile brain. Because we are so confident about, oh, I am so intelligent, I am so smart, I am the creator, I am the CEO of the company, I know I can solve all the problems. Even Brahmaji gets perturbed sometimes. He doesn't have the solution to the problems. Right? In that situation, what Brahmaji did, that is a lesson for all of us. Lesson is, when Brahmaji, first of all, he became humble. Generally, what happens when people are powerful, people are very intellectual, they become so puffed up, proud. How it is that I cannot solve the problem, I will solve the problem. Yes, you try your best, but at one point you should understand your limitations. And then humbly accept. It's okay to, to accept that probably I cannot solve this problem. Let me approach someone who's expert in solving the problems. So Brahmaji became very humble and then decided to go to the Supreme Lord, along with the Bhumi Devi, and he took all other demigods also along. So lesson number 1 is we should not unnecessarily become so puffed up our own material intelligence. It is good if Krishna has given us the intelligence, but a devotee always depends on the Lord. He always seeks the guidance of the Lord. Right? So that is how we should always be dependent. And it's a very, very powerful combination. Intelligence, power plus humility is a very powerful combination in this material world. If you are blessed with some good intelligence, you're blessed with some power, if you have the humility, then you are a real powerful person. Otherwise, sometimes people, when they are not humble, they become puffed up. And as there's old saying, they say that pride comes before fall. So when people start becoming too puffed up, then this is the beginning of their end. That is the understanding. So that is the lesson number 1. That Brahmaji, when he couldn't solve the problem, he reached out to the Supreme Lord. But also another lesson to be learned, Brahmaji did not go alone. You may say, okay, you wait, let me go and talk and in a conference room and I'll tell you that what was the conclusion. But Brahmaji, along with the Bhumi Devi, he took everyone, all the great personalities. Right? Why? There is a lesson for all of us. Right? When we try to reach to the Lord, we should not try to practice the path of reaching the Lord all alone. That is the principle. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koy, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the principle is be in the association of devotees. If you're really seriously interested to advance on your spiritual path, then don't try to be all alone. You'll be lost somewhere. You might be thinking I'm going in the right direction, but you will end up reaching somewhere else. So that is how this Sadhu Sangha is a very, very powerful principle. Satsang, be in the right association. Right? As Krishna also explained, Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhyantasya Parasparam Katyantasya Mam Nityam Tushyanticha Ramanticha. That if you really want to relish the spiritual life, then Krishna says, Machitta Madgata Prana Bodhyantasya Parasparam. You should always practice it in the association of the devotees. Then you can relish. Otherwise, your life becomes very boring. Even in the spiritual life, you'll be bored. Studying, chanting, meditating, and this is no fun. And then you will fall back to the same materialistic way of life. But when you're in the association devotee, there's a lot of exchange of feelings, emotions, realizations, their understanding. You read the book, you understand something. I read the book, I understand something else from the same book. Right? And I share my realization. You share your realization. We nourish each other in the devotee association. So that is the principle. Also, when you try to reach out to some big person, right? So then, like, if I can think of example is in India, it happens sometime, people do the strike, dharna. So they have some demands and they go out of some big building, big office and some government office or something like that. And they sit there like thousands and hundreds and thousands of people. And there's a dharna and they'll shout and something like that. Then the power of all those people shakes sometimes the whole government. They become bound to listen. Okay, let us listen what the people have to say. Think that you go all alone with some of your demand outside some parliament. You'll be kicked out in just no time by some security guard. Right? But you go with a big force, then you can shake the authority, Supreme Authority. So that is what actually it teaches us the lesson that, you may go to Krishna, Krishna give me this, Krishna give me that. Krishna might be busy. Of course, Krishna has unlimited powers. He can reciprocate with our individuals. But the point is, the association devotees, that makes your practice or the impact of your practice all the more very powerful. When you go with all the devotees, that is what we practice every day. What we do? Every morning, we all come together and we sing the kirtans together. Of course, you can sing alone also. But we all come together, sing loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So more and more devotees comes and they sing loudly. They create that power, that aura, which catches the attention of Krishna. So we may not be qualified to catch the attention of Krishna in the crowd. But in that crowd, if even one person is qualified and Krishna look at that person, you will also come into the focus of Krishna. You are also blessed just by being in the association of the right devotees. So that is also another very, very important lesson that we should learn, that how we should always practice Krishna consciousness in the association of devotees. And another one important thing is, see, if you see in this metal world, all the news channels, all the media, what they talk about? They talk about, see, they don't talk about that we are conducting some session here on Saturday evening. Nobody cares, right? Unless we really afford to pay them and to cover our sessions like this. But the media and all these news channels and everywhere, they cover all big people in the world, what they are doing, what is happening in India. Some G20 summit is going on somewhere. Who are the people involved in that? The president, the prime minister, and all important people of the country from all around the world. They will cover all those kind of news, right? So Bhagavatam also captures that all the important people in this world, in this whole universe, all the important personality, what they're doing. Who are the important personality in this universe? Right from the creator, Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, and all these great demigods, what they are doing, that has been captured in Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we read the Bhagavatam, then you understand, then what are those great personalities are doing. So what they're doing, they're going and pleading and praying, submitting themselves at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Accepting that I am insignificant. I may be a big Brahma, but actually I am very, very insignificant. And they go and submit. So we learn from all the big people that what they behave and act, right? So these are the few lessons. So of course, the Lord, gave the instruction to Brahmaji and he said, I'll appear soon. And then all the story happened that Devaki and Vasudeva got married. And then there was Akashvani, the voice from the air. The eighth son of your sister will cause the death of yours, like that. And then this Kamsa, as being a very demonic person in the association of demons, he put them into the jail. And now, finally, the time that Krishna appeared here, and Krishna appeared in not ordinary like an ordinary child, but he comes in a very extraordinary way for very extraordinary reason. So that proves that Krishna is not some ordinary child. Sometimes people try to minimize Krishna's position. Oh, Krishna was maybe some intellectual person, great politician, maybe a little smart fellow. No, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Param Purushottam Bhagavan. That is Krishna's position, which has been established in the Srimad Bhagavatam, established in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So that is how we understand. So why he comes in this form, there is a reason I explained. So one reason is he wanted to inform the Vasudeva and Devaki that I am the Supreme Lord. Why he wanted to inform them? Because when Krishna comes, he started speaking first of all. No child speaks. Right? Sometimes, child gets delayed for a few days, the parents gets a little perturbed. Oh, it's already 9 months or 1 year, 2 years, child is not speaking. They had to go to the doctor. But here, in the child, as soon as he born, he started giving them the instruction. He said, don't fear, don't worry. Don't be fearful. He's giving the instruction, giving them the confidence. And also, he wanted to, tell them that I am the Supreme Lord. And then he reminds them that Vasudeva and Devaki, you in your previous life, he reminds them there are 2-3 previous lives. He says, in your previous life, when, both of you as a husband and wife, you did a lot of austerity. And when I was pleased with your austerity, and you asked me to appear as your son. So now I am fulfilling your desire and I'm appearing here. I am the Supreme Lord. I'm coming as your son. Right? So that is why he came in that Chaturbhuj Narayana form, to prove that I am the same Supreme Lord whom you desired to appear. Right? So that is one. Okay. Now, then as soon as he appears, all the discussion happens. And then Lord Krishna, he instructed Vasudevji that now you should take me to Gokul, Nanda Gokul. Now there's a lot of wonderful lessons to learn from this. So now what is the situation of Vasudevji? Now Vasudeva is not sitting in his office comfortably with all the facilities. He's sitting in the prison house, shackled by the iron chains. Right? And Krishna is saying, take me to Vrindavan, to Gokul. Somebody might wonder, like, why Krishna is being so impractical? You should see the situation that this person is tied, how he can even lift you and take you out of the jail. So that is where we need to spend some time and understand this. It's a very, very powerful lesson that we learn. And if we can realize this, then it will be very helpful for our spiritual progress. So basically, when Vasudeva was given the instruction to take me out, Vasudeva did not argue. Why you are asking me? First of all, you are the Supreme Lord. You showed already that you are Supreme Lord. So you can go now if you want. You came all the way here in the jail. You can go to Gokul Vrindavan also. How would I do this? I have no means. I'm also shackled. He did not argue. What he did? Immediately, he took that instruction. So that is the principle. In our spiritual life, as soon as we receive an instruction, we should because our mind actually tricks us many times. What our mind does? Gives you 100 reasons why you should not do this instruction. That is the trick of the mind. When the mind is not in control, you will give 100 reasons. Oh, I'm busy with my office. My family problem is going on. This thing is going on. My health is not good. We can give 100 reasons. When we ask the people, okay, do you chant? Do you read Bhagavad Gita? We can give 100 reasons. But we learn from the Vasudevji. So that is why Shukdeva Goswami address Vasudevji as Tatasya Sauri Bhagavat Prachoditaha. He says this Vasudevji is Shauri. And the Acharyas give explanation why Vasudevji is addressed as Shauri. What is the meaning of Shauri? Shauri means one who is very sure, very brave. Like Kshatriya generally, they show their Shaurya, right? Very brave they are. So there's multiple reasons that why this Vasudeva is addressed as Shauri. So one of the reason is he is the son of Sursen. So that is a very simple reason. That son of Sursen is Shauri. But that is not the main reason. Another thing is Kshatriya generally they're very, very brave. So they can be addressed as, oh, you are Shauri. But simply just by saying that you are Shauri, it doesn't make any sense. You have to prove yourself. So Vasudeva actually proves that how is Shauri. Now you see the Vasudeva's track record. He had not fought any big battles or something like that. But still he is addressed as Shauri. So how do we understand? One thing is when the Kamsa was carrying Vasudeva and Devaki, and then Kamsa was ready to kill the wife, then Vasudeva showed his bravery to pacify this very demonic king who doesn't listen anyone. And he used his intelligence, his tricks and all that, and he saved his wife. So that is one reason that he showed the bravery. Another reason for Vasudeva to be addressed as Shauri is he took up a task which is practically impossible. What is the task? You need a lot of bravery to do some impossible task. What is the task? Take Krishna out of the prison house. When you are shackled already, you don't know how, but he immediately took the task. So that makes him Shauri. Now there is a lesson is, for all of us practicing devotees, those who sincerely want to advance, there is a principle that whenever there is an opportunity, any instruction comes to, take some instruction, immediately we should take up that without doing our material calculation, because we get stuck in our material calculation. We think how it will happen, how would I do? You just start doing the things and then things will start manifesting by Krishna's grace. And we see in this particular pastime, As soon as he lifted Krishna, what happened? All his shackle was broken apart. So yes, we are all shackled by our conditioning. We have our own limitations. We are shackled by our own body, mind, and so many other limitations. But when instruction comes under the guidance of a bona fide guru and Krishna, immediately you take, and by following that instruction, all your shackles, all your limitations, bodily limitations, your mental limitations, or circumstantial limitations will be automatically resolved. It will be taken care. This is the lesson for us. Right? How it will happen? We cannot dictate. It will all happen by Krishna's arrangement, by Krishna's grace. So sometimes we minimize Krishna's position unknowingly, unconsciously. So, no, how can I do? It means you don't have faith in Krishna. You don't have confidence in Krishna, in Krishna's power of doing the magic. Krishna is called as Yogeshwara. Krishna can do all kinds of magic. He can do whatever he wants. So a devotee, actually, we can see this principle to understand better. Sometimes we might think, oh, these things are, nice to listen in the lecture hall, but in the practical life, it doesn't work. That is what is our also mental calculation only. It works actually. A practical example is Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was given the instruction by his guru. What was the instruction? Take Krishna. Like instruction was given to Vasudeva. Take me to Gokul. Prabhupada was given the instruction. Take Krishna to the whole world. Now Prabhupada can say, I am a Grasta, householder man. I have my business. I have my wife. So many kids to take care. Why you are asking me such a Herculean task? He did not argue. Prabhupada says in a very first meeting with his guru, he received this instruction to spread this message of Krishna consciousness around the world. And Prabhupada says, I took that instruction as my life and soul at that very moment. Right? So now, it was in 1922 when Prabhupada met Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur Maharaj, his guru, and he received this instruction. And he said, go to the West and share this knowledge of Krishna Katha. And Prabhupada could come only in 1965. How many years? Almost more than 40 years of preparation. So Prabhupada, first of all, he did not argue, he did not give the reasons for not doing. He constantly kept kept trying so many ways. Right? And then finally, the right time comes. Then Krishna makes everything manifest the way he wants. So what is the lesson for all of us is, we can do only our efforts. Karmanyavadikaraste ma phalesu kadachana. As Krishna says, you have the right to perform your duties. You are not entitled for the results. You should understand this. You do your best and leave the rest. Rest, Krishna will guide you. He'll arrange the facilities. So Prabhupada was very, very brave. He came in this country when he was almost 70-year-old, 69-year-old. When people generally takes a retirement, Prabhupada took up this Herculean task of bringing Krishna, like the Vasudeva was given the instruction of taking Krishna out from the jail. Prabhupada was also given the instruction to take Krishna to the whole world. 70-year-old man. It needs a lot of bravery. Right? Sometimes, many times we hear this, oh, Prabhupada was 70-year-old. He came to America. He came in the cargo ship and he got 2 heart attacks. Right? So we appreciate. But one time, one very senior sannyasi, in a moment, he was talking to someone and he was telling, like all the young devotees, brahmacharis were sitting, and this devotee was very old, 70, 75-year-old. And when he was saying, he says, none of you know that what Prabhupada had done for us. So everybody says, oh, we know what Prabhupada had done. Everybody knows. He has given us such a wonderful movement and all of that. Say, no, you cannot know. Unless you become 70-year-old, you will never know this. What it feels like to be 70-year-old man. And that time, if you have that courage to go out of the house itself, he is going out of the country where he has never been before, with practically no resources. Prabhupada came to this country with 40 rupees in his hand. How much brave one should be to come to some foreign land with practically zero resources. 40 rupees in this country, as soon as you touch the land of this country, your 40 rupees will disappear. Right? There's no value of the 40 rupees in this country from India. Even in those days, it might have been like some $6-7 or something. All right. An interesting part of the story is Prabhupada created this whole movement, worldwide movement. And then one time, after many years, there's a devotees all around, there's a temples all around. And then Prabhupada one time went back to India. He landed in Delhi. And then he took the rickshaw to go to the temple there. And that is where he spent those 40 rupees to rickshawala. So even that 40 rupees he did not spend in this country. It was there with him. And he spent only back in India. So how it is possible? It is possible when you take up the task of following Krishna's instruction, then Krishna will arrange everything for you. We see in this particular pastime that how, as soon as Vasudeva, he lifted Krishna in that butti, right, all the shackles broke. So all our limitations will be, we will transcend all the limitations. It's not like that we become super powerful, but we transcend our limitations. And there's a lot of such examples we see. Sometimes, see, one of the activities in a movement is devotees goes out for book distribution. They go out and hand out the literature and distribute the books for the welfare of the society. So generally people are not welcoming for, you go and knock and say, we have Bhagavad Gita. Say, who is interested in Bhagavad Gita in this modern age? They just, bang the door on your face and all of that. And sometimes there's devotees who doesn't even know the language. They just keep traveling. They go to some place that doesn't even speak the language and they finish all their books. So you might be limited in so many ways, in your abilities, in your skills, in your competence. But if you are sincerely trying to follow Krishna's instruction, then things will happen. All the shackles will break, right? And also, then when Vasudeva started walking out after the shackles were broken, all the doors were opened. Now there is a description that this jail where the Vasudeva and Devaki was kept is not some ordinary jail. It was Kamsa's jail. Kamsa was the most powerful king at that time. And his jail description is, there is a 16 layer of protection. 16 layer of protection. So it's not like that you just open one door and you run away and you escaped. No, there's 16 different layers. You cannot escape. And if somehow you're super smart, you can come out from those 16 layers of protection. Then outside, as soon as you cross the 16th one, the last one, then he made some arrangement that anybody passes through that, try to escape, then there is a big stone slab was kept on top. It will fall. You'll be crushed to death right there if you try to escape. And somehow, again, say you are smart, you cross that also. Then there 2 tigers were sitting outside every door. So they will attack on you. So you are very powerful. You manage to fight with the tigers also. Then there 2 powerful, all those bodyguards were sitting. They are ready to kill you there. So all those protections are all those layers of protection, and it's practically difficult to come out. But as soon as you lift Krishna, so how Vasudeva lifted Krishna? In the butti. We also lift the Krishna in what butti? Our mouth is a butti. And we lift Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when you lift Krishna in your mouth, you carry Krishna in your mouth, that is the butti, then all the doors will open. What are those doors? Doors for Vaikuntha will open for us. Just by chanting and carrying Krishna by chanting his holy name. The doors will open. Otherwise, reaching to Vaikuntha, I was giving the description of this jail, 16 layers and all that. We are also in the jail. The only thing is we are not realizing because the jail is little comfortable. AC is running here. So we think, okay, it's a good jail. All right. So that is also another ignorance. But the Shastra says this is a prison house. This body itself is like an encasement. You are stuck. You are limited by the jail. Jail, what happens when you're put into in a cell? You're limited. You can't do whatever you want to do. Similarly, the living entity, which is eternally being a part and parcel of Krishna, unlimited, entitled for the unlimited joy and happiness and bliss. We are encased in this jail, a body. Now you cannot experience the real joy because this body keeps giving you a lot of troubles, a lot of miseries, a lot of pain. You eat one rasgulla, say, oh, this is my favorite. You eat 10 rasgulla, you will vomit. So what gives you the joy? That will give you the pain in next moment. That is how we are encaged in the jail. And then beyond the jail, there's another layer, which is this metal world itself with jail. And you read how thick layers are there to penetrate the jail. But all those layers of jail can be automatically taken care. All the doors will open to the Vaikuntha as soon as you lift Krishna, as it happened with the Vasudevji. So all the shackles were broken. So our limitation will be broken apart. All the doors are open. So these doors to Vaikuntha, to Krishna, it will be open for us. Right? And also, when he came out, so there's a lot of, these doorkeepers and the security guards were there. They all fell asleep. So all of these problems in this material world, when you try to, move on this spiritual path, say, oh yes, Prabhuji, we are interested in Bhagavad Gita, we are interested in Bhagavatam, we want to chant every day, we want to come to temple, we want to in fact come for Mangala Arati every day, right? We can have the desires, and devotees genuinely have sometimes desires, but then a lot of other practical problems are there. They keep torturing you. It might be right from your family members, it can be some other circumstantial situations, but then when you sincerely try to follow the instruction, then you'll see that all those doorkeepers who are stopping you, they'll fall asleep and you peacefully come out and you do your stuff. Right? So these are all wonderful lessons that we learn from this. So that is why Shukdev Goswami addresses the Vasudevji as Shauri. Tatasya Sauri Bhagavat Prajotida. He's very brave. One should become brave. So, and we see the practical example is Srila Prabhupada. He has been very, very brave, and in such an advanced days, he's very bold. He came to this country and he created this Vrindavan all around the world. Prabhupada says that I created a house where the whole world can live. Again, it's not as a simple statement. Prabhupada practically created a house which is called this Hare Krishna movement. The whole world can come and practice. You go any part of the world, you'll find the devotees, you'll find the temple. Some small temples, some big temples, some preaching centers, somebody you find, and you can practice. So how much brave one should be. So what we learn is we should learn to be brave in the service of Krishna. So sometimes we try to be in the comfort zone. Whatever is comfortably I can do, that is good, Prabhuji. Don't ask beyond that. I can chant one round every day. Once in a week I can come to the temple and little bit service I can do. That is peaceful. Aram se. No anxiety. I should not take anxiety. No, we should take anxiety. So you might wonder, hey, what is this ulta teaching is going on here? People go to the temple, to Bhagavad Gita and all that, so that they can get free from the anxiety. Because in this material world, which is filled of anxiety, people know, okay, let me go to the temple, peacefully sit there, meditate, chant, so I feel peace. Right? And the point is, when you go next level to understand the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, it teaches us, if you don't take anxiety for Krishna, you are bound to take anxiety from this material world. So you can only choose which anxiety. You cannot be free from anxiety. Say, oh no, you broke her heart, Prabhuji. We thought will be peaceful. But the nature of this anxiety versus that anxiety is completely different. Right? This anxiety, this is called, the Shastra explains, this is a burden of love. What is burden of love? Srila Prabhupada explains, like a mother, when the newly born child is there, mother has to do practically everything for the child, cleaning the stool, urine, all the dirty things, and child cries in the mid of the night, and mother is trying to figure out what to do. She might be busy whole day, working, taking care of the family, and suddenly she is fall asleep and child cries. Mother doesn't say, oh no, my time's up. No overtime. Mother has to do. Why she does? It's not out of some force or out of some pay, but it is out of love. So in the love, there's a lot of pain, but that pain itself gives you the joy. Right? These are all different, dynamics we learn from the scriptures. People think, oh no, pain is a bad thing. Yes, it is a bad thing. Pain of this material world is a bad thing. But pain, the anxiety in the service of Krishna is a great thing to have. If we don't have that, then you'll be forced to have the pain of this world. People will create the pain for you in your family itself. That is the reality. Right? So we should be ready to take all the troubles, whatever. So there are three different zones. One is called the comfort zone, and then next level. So the people, those who are in comfort zone, they're generally, considered as in the mode of ignorance, comfortably sitting, kar lenge kind of thing, that kind of attitude. We'll do what is hurry. We are young. We'll do in old age. Tomorrow, ignorance. And this is called the comfort zone. Next level is called the crisis zone. The people, when they sometimes they're in, this is too much of passion. You have a lot of things, but you don't plan, and you plan too much or something like that. And suddenly things comes up and there's too much of crisis. So either comfort zone is not good, nor the crisis zone is good. What is that? Is the creative zone. That you should be in the Satogun, in the goodness. So create a lifestyle which is more of like a sattvic lifestyle. And then plan your things, your worldly duties, your family duties, family responsibilities, and also equally, and not only equally, but actually more importantly, your spiritual duties. So what we are lacking, practically, we take care of everything of this world, but what we miss out is taking care of our spiritual life. That is where the whole problem happens. So we should try to be not in comfort zone or crisis zone. But into the creative zone. Go in the Satogun. And then in that you take some trouble. But when you are in a Satogun, then all this pain and a lot of things comes, which seems impractical. When you're Sattvic, you can think, you can become more and more dependent on Krishna and try to learn to how to become completely dependent on Krishna. That's the whole idea. So sometimes Krishna put you in that situation. Like Krishna is giving the instruction to Vasudeva. Okay, but lift me and take me out. Now this is such a task. How somebody who is shackled, who is in the jail, can take you out. So you might wonder like, oh, there's too much to demand. Krishna demands like this sometimes, so that he can help us to develop the dependency on him. You practically give up the hope on your own abilities, on your skills. Giving up hope doesn't mean that you completely give up the hope altogether, but you give up the hope on your own ability. And you have a lot of hope. So, okay, I'm not able to do, but if Krishna wish, then I can do this. That hope is always there. So we should take that hope and then keep stretching ourselves little by little, go out of the comfort zone, take the process, be brave in spiritual life. That is what we are trying to learn from this Vasudevji's attitude here. Then we try to be brave and we take up the instruction. You carry Krishna. So we are all given the instruction by our Guru or Acharyas. What is that? That share this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam around the world, because that is the only solace. That is the only panacea. That is the only medicine which can really cure the disease of this Bhavaroga. Bhava Aushadhan Manobhiramat. So this Aushadhi has to go out. By some good fortune, by the mercy of the great Acharya like Srila Prabhupada, we have got this Aushadhi. We are getting better. We are getting cured. We are getting relieved. Our infection is coming down. Our pain is reducing down. Now you should take the compassion and go out and share this knowledge. But for that, we have to be brave. Right. So this is the lesson. There's so many more things can be said about all of those things. But yeah, you'd always remember that in whatever circumstances Krishna is putting us, should always meditate that it might look very challenging, mentally speaking, but Krishna has some bigger plan for me. He is trying to open the doors for me, door for the eternal bliss. So I might have to take some trouble, some pain at this point here, but that will result in opening the doors for the eternal bliss. That is what Krishna acts. That is how he acts. You see all the examples in the Bhagavatam. You don't see the devotee's life is very comfortable, peacefully sitting, chanting. No, the life is filled with anxiety. Right from Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, all the Pandavas, Kunti Devi. You see all these examples. The life is filled with uncertainty. Right? So Krishna puts us in uncertainty so that we can learn to be completely dependent on Krishna. And by doing that, Krishna also has another intention, is to glorify his devotees. And Prabhupada was asked to go and spread the message of this Krishna consciousness around the world. If Krishna wish, he can do in so many magical ways. Why Prabhupada has to take 43 years of preparation? And there's multiple failures for Prabhupada. If you read Prabhupada's life, it was not easy journey for him. Now we see, oh, Prabhupada came here and Prabhupada opened the temple and everything, expanded like a big blast. It did not happen just like that. There is a 45 years of preparation went. The multiple failures went behind. Now somebody might wonder that Prabhupada is being a pure devotee. Why Krishna did not allow him, facilitate him in a first go? The movement would have started in 1922 or 23 sometime. Then the preaching would have happened more. But Krishna's plans are always very mysterious, because they say, that we see our present and we plan our future. But Krishna sees our future and he plan our present. So he says that there is some bigger future I can see for you. So present, I know, I'll not give you this. You see in Prabhupada's life, when Prabhupada got this instruction, he was already, that time Prabhupada was a 26-year-old young man. He was doing his business, pharmaceutical business. He was having his family, wife, kids and all that, taking care of all of them. And then Prabhupada started meditating, working that how to spread, all of that. And he tried, and then finally started writing articles, started associating with the Gaudiya devotees. 1944, started this Back to Godhead magazine. A lot of things happens. And then Prabhupada actually started another, this called the League of Devotees in Jhansi. That was Prabhupada's first attempt to start a movement. So what is started in America, it was attempted to start in Jhansi in some early 50s and sometime. But it was a big failure. And then Prabhupada was doing business, there was a loss in his business. Then he winded up the business, he went to other place, Allahabad. There he trying, then again, there are multiple failures, multiple losses in his business. Practically everything was just falling apart. Nobody was helping him. And he didn't have the money practically. He took sannyas, sitting in Vrindavan, penniless in 1965. Sannyasi doesn't carry any money. And still his plan is to come to America without money. He was working hard, translating the books, and then he managed to, get some sponsorship for him to come here. So there was Scindia Steam, the ship company. The owner of that Scindia is one lady, old lady, Sumati Morarji. And Prabhupada knew her. She used to come to Vrindavan. Prabhupada went to meet her in Bombay. Says, can you please help me? Can you sponsor me a ticket? Anyway, your ships keep going. So that Sumati Morarji said, Swamiji, old man, are you in your senses? What you're talking? Because she was a little elderly lady, so she could talk to Prabhupada like this. He says, Buddha mar jayega. Like that she said. Don't try to do such things. In 70-year-old, you are going to America in ship. You will not reach America. And in fact, that captain in the ship, Captain Pandya, because Prabhupada got 2 heart attacks on the consecutive nights. So that Pandya, he said that Swamiji, better you cut down here. Otherwise, you'll take your dead body only to America. Prabhupada said, let me die in the service of my Guru Maharaj. But that is what is my life. So you see, there's so much of trouble. Now the question is, why Krishna is testing so much? Little bit test is okay. Why so much test? 45 years, you will lose the patience. You will give up the hope. You'll say, okay, forget it. This project is not for me. Right? So when Krishna puts us in all the challenging situation, Krishna wants to glorify the devotee. He wants to give you the undying fame that Krishna, because he loves his devotees more than himself. So all these stories, why we are talking today? Because Krishna created through Prabhupada such a movement, worldwide movement. Practically everybody knows what is Hare Krishna. Who is this Srila Prabhupada? Otherwise, who would know? Prabhupada might have started some small temple in Jhansi. There's hundreds of temples in India. Every street there is a temple. But Prabhupada came in America. And in America also life was not easy. You should read. There's one book called the Prabhupada Leela Mrata. You must read this book. It's very, very inspiring life story of Prabhupada. Right? Prabhupada, 1 year he struggled. There was no place to stay. He has to share the room with one of the American who was a hippie. They don't understand who is a sannyasi from India. Who cares? And that same refrigerator Prabhupada has to share, where this person has to keep the meat. Now the sannyasi like Prabhupada, he has to share that. There's no other option. Right? And Prabhupada was writing the letters back in India. He has some contacts, some big businessman. He's saying, please send me some money. I want to start some, temple here. There's a lot of opportunities here. Send me some money. I'm penniless here in this country, all alone, old man. Nobody was responding. He wrote the letter to Indira Gandhi. Send some help. Government level help can be done in a different way. There was no response to that letter. So like that, you see, Prabhupada. So Prabhupada tried all of those things. Nothing worked out. No money came from India. No people came from India. No support came from government of India. Prabhupada all alone with 40 rupees carrying in his pocket. Krishna is the bigger plan. Prabhupada practically from the scratch, he started this whole journey of building up this movement. And that is what is the glorious about Prabhupada's life. Otherwise, you would say, oh, that person gave a lot of money, so Prabhupada built some temple. What is a big deal? If you give me money, I'll also build the temple. We would have said like that. Right? So Krishna is the bigger plan always. So that is why if we see our present, we plan our future. Krishna sees our future. We plan our present. Krishna could see the future of this movement is it will be a worldwide movement, and then Srila Prabhupada will be worshipable as a worldwide Acharya, the founder Acharya, Jagat Guru. Right? So he wanted to give him that fame as Jagat Guru. So devotees are very, very brave to take the service, the austerity, all the pain, all the trouble in the service of Krishna. And they very joyfully they take this. It's not a trouble for them. It's a burden of love. So one time some reporters, they came to Srila Prabhupada and they're asking, Swamiji, your life is all about Krishna. Morning you get up and you chant Krishna's name, and then you sing Krishna's songs, and you talk about Krishna, you give Krishna's lecture, you eat only Krishna Prashadam, and everywhere you talk about Krishna, 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 Krishna. What if at the end of your life, you realize there's no Krishna? Right? Somebody had this question to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada says, if I realize that there's no Krishna, still I'll continue. Because Krishna is so sweet. So that is called the love. In the love, there is no condition. And Prabhupada also, he explained, he says, if there's no Krishna, say for example, if there's no Krishna, then what is the loss? We have the wonderful life, blissful life. We sing, we dance, we eat Krishna Prasadam, we enjoy anxiety-free life we live. What is the problem? We are enjoying our life. Now my question to you is, at the end of life, if you realize there is Krishna, what you will do? Your life is wasted. Right? So there's no risk in serving Krishna. If we are not sure, sometimes if we are not confident because of our ignorance, it's not like we are uncertain. There is a certainty, but sometimes if we are not able to comprehend and understand, if there is a limitations in our hand to understand, still we should be brave to follow the instructions. And life is blissful. So that is what is the Janmashtami offers. And Janmashtami is already done, but we can live the life every day. We can celebrate Janmashtami. We should talk about Krishna. We should sing about Krishna. We should chant about Krishna. Make nice preparation, nice food, offer to Krishna, enjoy prasadam, read Bhagavad Gita. So there is a food for the body. There is a food for the intellect. When you read the scriptures, there is a food for the soul, which is chanting of Krishna's name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So you're completely nourished bodily, intellectually, and spiritually. So what is the loss? So that is what is the Janmashtami that we try to meditate. So we should think, we should try to brave. For us, there's no big instructions that are coming. For us, it is very simple. Chant every day Krishna's name. Prabhupada says 16 nouns. So start with something. Start taking 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Take 16 steps. And everything will open. The shackles will break apart. The doors will open, and then all the doorkeepers, who is a big hurdle, they'll also fall asleep. And you will have the progress on your journey. Okay. So we'll pause here and let me see if anybody has any quick question or any comment on what we discussed. Those are joining online, anybody has any quick question? Okay, looks like everybody is so satisfied, no questions. Okay, so let us chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra together now. And we'll discuss more. So those who are joining us first time, online or in person, Just to inform you that we have these sessions every Saturday evening. It's called the Gita Live session. So originally what we are doing in these Gita Live sessions are, we are discussing the Gita chapters. So we already covered the 12th chapter till 12, and we'll be starting from the 13th chapter from the next Saturday. Today we are supposed to start, but then we thought of doing this special session on Janmashtami. So please join us, those who are interested in learning more Bhagavad Gita, and share this message with your friends and your family and relatives, so more people can be benefited by these sessions. Every Saturday evening, it happens here in person. If whatever reason you cannot come here in person, you can join online also. So there is a Zoom link for these sessions. So we do on the Zoom also parallelly. So you can ask after the sessions. If you're not on the WhatsApp group, you will be added, and there you'll get all the notifications, how to join and all of that. Okay. Let us chant now one round of Hare Krishna mantra together. I also need one mala. You can take one. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya. You can take from there. Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara. Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,